What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of F1 Fantasy Pole Position. It is the Qatar Grand Prix Q&A stream, and I'm going head-to-head with the NFL because apparently I don't care that much about views, but I do care enough about F1 Fantasy to get the Q&A stream in this week. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Let me know how y'all are doing in the chat. It's been a little bit of a busy day, so I apologize if it's a little bit rough around the edges here in the stream, but we will get that all smoothed out over the next couple of minutes. Oh, that's why the screen looks so... I was like, what is going on with my screen here? But now I know why. Because I didn't have it to the appropriate size. There we go. Boom. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay, so I need to get this. Still setting stuff up. Let me know what you guys are up to. How was your Thanksgiving? Even if you don't celebrate it, does that just mean that you were at work? Yes, that would not be fun. I'm assuming it's a very international audience. Bernard says, hello everyone, hope you had a good week. Excited to chat some F1 Fantasy as we head to the penultimate race. Can you believe it's penultimate race already? We are 2 races to go. Happy Thanksgiving, says Rebecca from the Grand Cayman Islands. As you Americans say, Kyria the Pokemaniac says hello. Let's see, doing great in fantasy nowadays without a certain papaya team. Yeah, we're going to get into that because I had a tweet earlier today. Let's go check it out here. Where was it? So, this is what I saw. Interesting tidbit from this article regarding McLaren. It gives me enough confidence that if they look fine in FP1 and sprint qualifying, I'll still run them in F1 Fantasy. And this is what Andrea Stella said. As this weekend's race in Qatar takes place on a very different type of circuit, McLaren does not expect a repeat of something very specific to the operating window of the kart in Vegas and the circuit characteristics. So that gives me a little bit of hope. However, when I posted that, tweeted that, Rebecca, who is in the chat right now, was kind of like, dang, I was kind of looking forward to getting some Red Bull in my team. And I can't disagree with you, Rebecca, because getting some Red Bull in my team does open up a lot more options. Like, I can just do like this. Oh, well, 0.8 short, but I wouldn't have to really sacrifice all that much. Let's see here. I'd have to just go Carlos Sainz to like Isaac Hadjar, who, and I haven't watched the official F1 press conferences, but I saw some other one that had like kind of put out a few of the drivers. I think he had like Piastri, Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton, Hadjar, and Alonso. Excuse the crack of the can. There we go. And yeah, so Hadjar was saying that he kind of thinks on paper that the Racing Bulls should be pretty rapid this weekend. And that gives me a little bit of pause because, so the initial plan, I'll just go over my initial plan right now, is I have the 3X chip. So I'm hoping to play that. So it's going to be Russell out. It's probably going to be Behrman out. And then it's going to be one of Sainz or Gasly out. However, if I keep Sainz, then I have to put in... hold on, let me keep Sainz here. If I keep Sainz, I have to bring in Colapinto and Alonso, which is a little stinky. I don't love that as 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets. Not my ideal strategy. It saves a bunch of budget because I can't go down, but it's not the best. However, if I take out Sainz and I roll with Gasly instead, I can get a little piece of Racing Bulls in Liam Lawson, who, to be honest, looked pretty rapid around Vegas last weekend, just got involved in a turn 1 skirmish. And it wasn't, I don't know. Some people think it's his fault. Some people say it's not, but I didn't think it was a little on the fence there. So this makes this lineup a little bit more appealing to myself. I'm not sure. I need to start a poll here. Let's see. I'll start with the obvious one. I'll start with, will the championship be decided in Qatar? Yes, Lando will win WDC. No, all 3 drivers still have a chance, have a shot. All 3 drivers have a shot. And then the final option will be no, just 2 drivers have a shot. There we go. All right, so let me know what you guys think in that poll. Alrighty, let's see here. Hello 55-N8L. What is up? Hey, you, and rather watch you than NFL. LOL. Oh, appreciate that. Roger Goodell is quaking in his boots. Rebecca says, exactly, much better B tier options. I'm caught up in 2 minds for 3x, if that's the correct expression. LOL. Curia Maniac, let me know what those decisions are. Let's hash them out over the next hour. That's what I'm here for. This is the Q&A stream. If there's not enough Q, then it's just a lot of R rambling that comes from me. So I'm here to answer your questions, even if there's only one of us. If there's one viewer, it's just a one-on-one session where I'm hoping to answer all of y'all's questions. And Carlos wasn't too hopeful in the press conference. I like the non-science lineup. Yeah, so like Qatar, lots of like extended medium corners, and Williams really haven't done all that good at circuits with kind of the longer corners, the medium corners. So that is something we have to think about as well. Bernard saying Liam burnt me 2 times this season. Not sure if I'll trust him, to be fair. The same is true for Gasly and Sainz. Let's see. Rebecca Saylor, I voted 2, but I'm probably just manifesting that as I'd prefer it. Yes. Yeah. It would be interesting if it's 2. I think if it's 2 and it's Lando and Piastri, then I would reckon Lando takes it. But if Max is hanging around for the final race of the season, I don't think I could count anything out. Henry Stewart's in the chat. I have gone rogue, going Norris, Verstappen, Antonelli, Alonso, Colapinto, McLaren, Haas for a -20. Oh my days, Henry Stewart. You are a bold manager, sir. Curia says, I am 9,800 rank, really good first half of the season, and then just terrible race after terrible race. Happens to the best of us. Curia, don't worry. A couple of years ago, I think I was in the top 1,300 after the initial results of COTA. And then I think I played my Limitless chip that weekend, or my 3X chip, and I had Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. And then they both got DSQ'd after the race. And then I think I ended up about, I don't know. I think after that, I was like, well, I want to get back into the top 1,500. So I think I went without Verstappen for the rest of the season. And I think I actually dropped out in the top 10K. So, there are worse things that could go on. We are 10 minutes in. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. However, if you are chatting in the YouTube channel, then you are a member because it's subscribers only, because the support has been unreal. Like I said, like I've said a lot recently, we just went over 4,000 subs. Y'all guys are absolutely crushing it. And the drive to 5,000 is officially on. Craig Black is here. What's up, Craig? Hope you're doing well. Can't go 3 times Max, Lando, McLaren, Mercedes. Can you go 3 times Max, Lando, Red Bull, Mercedes? Curia. Do I go boring 3X to finish top 10K? That is a possibility. And we could go look at the elite data here, just to see what the top 500 in the world is doing. So Verstappen here is in 88% of the global top 500. That is a lot. Gasly's at 69%, Russell's at 67%, Sainz, Hadjar, Behrman. Now this is only telling us like who is in each team from the global top 500 under the since the last race. So these things change, and then like after lineups lock, it'll give us the data sample of who is in the top 500 or who the top 500 have transferred in, and then once those finalized results come in, the entire top 500 changes. So let's see here. Alrighty, curious, or do I go crazy because why not at this point? I mean, if you're looking to finish either top 5K or bust Curia, then I think I would go a little bit different. Just depending on your goal. I mean, if you're like, if I finish outside the top 5K, it doesn't really matter to me. I'd rather finish inside, and like I always say, like, go to bed on Sunday night thinking that you made the right moves and you're comfortable with how it all shook out. So just think about that. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate that. Alo55 says, can go Max, Lando, Ocon, Gasly, Hadjar, Mercedes, Red Bull, 3X. What'd you think? I like that. That is pretty spicy. I don't think I can get to something like that. So I'm a little bit jealous there, Alo. Let's see. Red Bull. And then what else did you do? Gasly, Hadjar, Ocon. Wow, that's a really nice budget. Gasly, Hadjar, Ocon. I don't think I'm anywhere close to a budget like that. Gasly, Hadjar. Of course it just... Look at that. Nonsense. F1 website. Why are you doing this? Gasly, Hadjar, Ocon. Gasly, Hadjar, Ocon. Unless I could get there, can I? Oh, wow, I can get there. I kind of like that lineup. But it's about a -40 for me, or -30. So I probably won't be doing that, but I like that lineup. How close are you in the top 1,500 in terms of points? That's a great question. I believe that Formula Fantasy Hub Rob is like exactly outside the top 1K. So let's go there. Content Creators League. Here, where are you at, Rob? So this is your T1 squad. So Rob's at 4893. I'm at 4835. So I'm assuming I'm about 30 to 40 points off the top 1,500. Because Rob is like right outside the top 1K. I think he's in the top 1,100, just a tiny bit outside the top 1,000 right now. So yeah, I would guess like 30, 40 points there, Capetta. I mean, I could also go less rogue and go Norris, Verstappen, Behrman, Sainz, Hadjar, Red Bull, McLaren. I could also go less rogue and go Norris, Verstappen, Behrman, Sainz, Hadjar, Red Bull. I like that as well. That's a big budget as well, Henry. Goodness gracious. I'm going crazy for my best ever rank. Don't really care about top 3K, says Nixie. Okay, so what's that lineup going to be then, Nixie? Looking forward to that. But I just don't really think there's a standout B tier asset other than any, which is hard to afford in Norris Verstappen builds. Yeah, that's a good point. With a 3X chip, I have to go Norris Verstappen though, right? If affordable. I'm thinking you do. Like, the differential of having the chip, the 3X chip this weekend, is the differential. You don't have to do the chip and like pick a different driver. You're already going to get another 60 points from Verstappen. You're already going to get another 40 points from Norris. Like, that's the differential. You don't have to be that different, which that's kind of what I'm tossing up right now, Henry, is like, I know a lot of people that have the chip left, so we can go to the elite data. So in the top 500 right now, let's see, extra DRS boost. So 28.8% of the top 500 still have their extra DRS boost left, right? That's a lot. That's a lot to kind of overcome. Not a lot of people have their limitless left. No negatives been played a bunch. Autopilot, people are probably saving for Abu Dhabi, I guess. Final Fix hasn't been played that much. Wildcard either. So, and if you look at it here, this is my team, my T1 squad. I have the most owned constructors. I have 5 of the top 6 owned drivers as well. So my team is pretty template Timmy. But if I can bring in Norris and Verstappen, that's going to be the differential for me. I don't have to worry too much about that. So the question that will kind of come up is it going to be on Verstappen or is it going to be on Norris? And that's where I could get a little bit different, because Lando still sounds pretty confident to me. Like, I don't know if... Yeah, here we go. let's go. We got some press conference quotes, so let's go over these as well. This is what really kind of stood out to me. Where was it? Yeah, we'll probably be quicker now that we have to put it up because I won't have to back off everywhere. Everyone thinks it'll make us slow, but it'll probably make us quicker. I'm excited for all of it. I've never been in this situation before, but I'm excited. I think it's exciting for everyone. I certainly would have liked to have a 30-point gap instead of 24 to whoever it is, but it's more exciting for you guys, I guess, so good for you. I think I'll just go and try and do the same thing. I'll focus on trying to get a good qualifying, have a good race, and just take one step at a time. I don't mind, but of course, the earlier I can do it, the better. At the same time, that doesn't change how I do anything. I just need to try and win. It's as simple as that. Like, honestly, that doesn't sound like a guy that's super rattled by a disqualification to me. So the differential for me, while playing a chip, could be to put it on Norris. That is the differential. Like, McLaren, super quick around here. I know Max Verstappen won around here, but Lando Norris had like a 10-second time penalty for not braking under yellow flags. So if I see Norris looking rapid in FP1, and then he gets pole in the sprint quali, I don't know. Like, Lando Norris, 3X, come on down. That is kind of what I'm thinking. There is a lot more people, obviously, like Red Bull's at 27% now, and I think a lot of people are going to go there as a differential. And I believe it was Formula Fantasy Hub brought this up on his team selection earlier this week, but McLaren as a constructor haven't been that great in recent races. As you can see here, 22, negative 34 points, but 6, like they've scored above 80 once in the last 6 races, whereas Red Bull 85, 51, 92, 36, 88, 85. The other thing to consider, and I didn't really think about this until I was listening to the late breaking F1 podcast earlier today, which I still have not completed, but if we remove all this, and we look at fastest pit stops over here as well, Red Bull back-to-back 25s, and they've had 2 15s and 2 25s in the last 6 races. McLaren's had 1 15 in the last 6 races. So that is tempting. The thing there's an outside chance. I don't think I can get there because it's a little too out there, and I don't think I have the budget for it. But let's just add it all together, shall we? Okay, I do have the budget for it. And that's where it gets a little tricky here. 5.2, oof, just short. So I'd have to go down to Alonso. But something like this, swerve Max, but bank on Red Bull, that's another option. Oscar would have to show me something magical in FP1. He sounded okay this weekend, or in today's press conferences as well, so it wasn't too bad. A hunter has to be ruthless. Piastri gives his take on title chances as he vows to finish year on a high. I don't know. Triple McLaren? Who knows? What do we think about Alonso in Qatar? If you have to go to one of the 4.5 million bottom of the barrel assets, I'd prefer Alonso. I don't really have a lot of hope for him or Colapinto, but I would trust Alonso to kind of get it done a little bit more. Kieran, what are your thoughts? Verstappen 2X, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, V-Carb. I like that. V-Carb have been okay recently as well. If we go to the statistics, they are scoring, like they've had a 15 and then 3 10s and a 15 in their last 7 races for the pit stop points. That's not too shabby at all. So yeah, if you want to boost up that and kind of get a little differential away from it. See, the problem is it's like you're almost swerving McLaren enough that I'd maybe even like get off of McLaren as a constructor and go with Red Bull as well. Going Piastri for a risky play, he has to do well at some point, surely. I hope so. Otherwise, that burger chain down in Australia is not going to be going so well. Let's see. All right. Got the 3X chip to play this weekend, says Craig. Can't afford a 4A heavy. Better to have Max, Norris, and 1 B-tier constructor, or Piastri or Russell plus Antonelli and 2 A-tier constructors. Oof. So can you not even get to like Piastri, Antonelli, and then like Red Bull Mercedes lineup, Craig? Let me know in the chat. I'll get to it later, but look at that option and let me know, and then we can go back to your team. Rebecca says, I have 4,898 points, and I am 1,006 global rank. Okay, so that means I am 63 points behind you, Rebecca. Okay. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Vegas DSQ ruined my season. Do you think it's possible to catch up 260 points? I have 3x. Rival doesn't. I have 10 million more and same budget as you. Then, I mean, 260 points is a lot. You're going to have to, first of all, you're going to have to nail this 3x chip in a different way than your rival, because you won't catch up 260 points if you just have the same team as your rival. That's not going to happen. So you're going to have to get differential. And how you do that, I'm not sure. Maybe a lineup like this where you totally swerve Max. Maybe that's the way you do it. But yeah. No McLaren or Max, perhaps. My best ever rank is 154, and I agree with Nixie. I mean, Antonelli, sorry, not any. Let's go differential. Imagine Max and Lando crash and play accordingly. Oh my goodness. Nigel the Crab says, I'm top 1,400, but my budget stinks. May have to go Mercedes, Red Bull, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Gasly to keep on it. Wow. That would be a very... Oh, Racing Bulls? Yeah, that's probably Racing Bulls. That is... that's a spicy lineup there, Nigel. And I don't mind it at all. It's very, very nice. Sainz, Gasly? Yeah. I mean, I don't mind keeping Gasly in because this man loves a late season charge. Like, for reals. Let's select all here. Let's go. Let's take out all the races. Let's take out. When did he start? Maybe. All right. So before we got to Austin, Gasly was averaging 1.2 points per race. Yikes. After Austin, Gasly has been averaging Mexico, so that's only 3 races, 9.3 points per race. And he was very similar to this last season. If we go here, the races, just select all of them this time. Look at Gasly's score, 30, -12, 21, 14 in the final 4 races of the 2024 F1 fantasy season. So Gasly loves a late season surge. So maybe keeping Gasly in our squad isn't that bad. Now, we could 21 points here in Qatar. Not too shabby. Are we expecting a 5th place again? I don't think so. But crazier things have happened. Pierre Gasly ended up on the pole, or up on the podium last season in Brazil. If you can't afford Norris Verstappen for the 3X, would you rather go Verstappen Piastri or downgrade McLaren to Red Bull Mercedes for constructors? I think I'd rather keep Norris and Verstappen. I think those are the 2 best drivers on the grid right now, both driving like very well, very confidently. Oscar, I'd really have to see something like eye-opening tomorrow in FP1 and sprint quality to kind of think about going with Oscar there, Alexander. So I think I'd rock with Red Bull, Norris, and Verstappen there. Lando was sarcastic about being quicker. He meant in terms of dropping back all those seconds towards the end. Oh, I guess, okay, that makes sense. Would you take a -10 to get Lando Max? I am going to take a -10 to get to Lando Max, says Austin. So I would vote yes on that. Okay, I was listening to the press conference, and I guess I didn't really catch on to that sarcasm, I guess, Nixie, but Lando is always kind of like dry sense of humor like that. Just tuned in, so I'm not sure if this has already been talked over. I really can't decide between Max, Norris, McLaren, Mercedes with Sainz, Alonso, Hulkenberg, or Max, Russell, Kimi, Red Bull, Mercedes with Sainz, Hulkenberg. I've got the 3X as well. So the thing about, if you had the autopilot chip, I would prefer that second lineup with Max, Russell, Kimi, because you're kind of like, you have 3 bites at the apple to like get the autopilot chip to kind of do what it's supposed to do and collect the best score. But if you're using the 3X, then I would prioritize getting the 2 stronger drivers in there, because that 3X and that 2X multiplier is just going to If Lando Max finish 1-2 in whatever order, it's going to shoot you up the ranks because that is going to be a pretty decent differential. Mayor 18 says, team rank is 336. Used Max, Russell, Hadjar, Gasly, Sainz, Red Bull, Mercedes last week. Thinking about staying away from McLaren again for differential. I mean, sounds like you're doubling down there, Mayor 18. And I'm not going to tell you to not do it, but yeah, I'm a little bit of a more cautious F1 fantasy manager. I will admit that. I will throw my hands up and say, you got me, like the Walter White meme. But we've seen the lows of a -24 and or a -34, and then a 22 in Austin and a 6. But those are all with DNFs. If we can just take out the DNFs, which we totally can here in F1 Fantasy. So if we do, where are we at? Sprint, not classified. And then we do race not qualified or race disqualified. Even if we just take out those points, McLaren is back up to normal here. 64, 62, 86, 83, 26 in Las Vegas is not normal. But if you go against McLaren, you're pretty much banking on them DNFing, getting disqualified and stuff. And it's just like, for me, I don't go into races banking on disqualifications. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how I play the game. Like, I'm just not going to be like, I'm just hoping that this team gets a double DNS or a DNF at the beginning of the race. It just, because if it doesn't, then it's like, oh, that one kind of hope that I had did not work out. So there's no I'm not saying what you did was wrong, but in my brain, it just doesn't make sense to bet against McLaren that many times in a row. So let's see. Craig Black says, yes, can do that. Just thinking Norris and Verstappen will be the big scores this weekend unless they take each other out. Exactly. Like, if they take each other out, then everyone's in the mud. So it doesn't really matter. I guess the Russell and Kimi and Piastri managers will fly up the leaderboards. And if that's the way it goes down, that's the way it goes down. Like, I always say this. Rebecca talks about this all the time because she has heard me on the streams all year long just talk about it. On Sunday night, when I go to sleep, head hits the pillow, I have to know that I made the right calls that I believed in. If it doesn't shake out that way, like when I went to bed on Sunday, I wasn't mad, even though McLaren got double DSQ'd, because it looked like the right call. The same with Austin when they both DNF'd. Like, they looked pretty rapid on Friday. The same with Brazil. Like, it took Max Verstappen to fail in sprint quali, fail in the sprint, and fail in quali for him to have that epic day in Brazil on the Sunday. And throughout that entire deadline stream before the Brazilian sprint, I was like, hope is not a strategy. And honestly, Max doing so poorly in qualifying bailed out his managers. Like, if he qualified P12, I can't imagine Red Bull would have pulled him into the pit lane. So, that's just how I play. Like, hopefully that doesn't upset people. So, let's see here. I'm currently trying to stay ahead of somebody who has 3x chip to play. I'm 43 points up ahead. How best do I try and ensure I stay ahead of him? That's a great question. If you have the same team as them, Stuart, then you're kind of just like, you're going to have to, that will keep you in the race with them for Abu Dhabi, but then you'll have to go differential in Abu Dhabi. So I guess it kind of depends what you want to do. Do you want to be different now and potentially win your league? Because if you crush it and the 3x chip fails, then you should win. Or do you want to wait for the final race and have a final race punt? I guess that's kind of how you'd have to play it. Let's talk about the math. Oscar hasn't really been the worst after Zandvoort. He has scored 85 points, which is more than some drivers. Yes, but he is like 26 million, so he costs us a lot. When Kimi Antonelli costs us 18 million and is outscoring him. So that's kind of something you got to think about there. Kieran, is Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, V-Carb, or fully swing Verstappen? I mean, it's an option. I just had it up on the screen before, or a couple of minutes ago before it reset, because it always does. But, yeah. I think I kind of like the triple McLaren, but you'd have to feel really confident in Oscar to go that way. Better chance of extra pit stop points with maximum 25 laps per rule time. Yeah, I think so. You talk about for Red Bull there, Nixie? Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Without 3X, does Verstappen Norris worth it? I'm in top 300 overall with anti-McLaren lineup last Grand Prix. Now I can't afford Verstappen, Russell, Antonelli, so consider anti-McLaren again. Like I said, Timav, it's really how you want to play it. I think if you are comfortably ahead in a mini league or you're really comfortable with your global rank, then getting to like a Verstappen Lando lineup or having one of them in your lineup is going to work out okay in covering off the 3X chip. But if you are chasing and someone has the 3X chip, then you probably have to get differential because you're going to have to hope for a DNF, a disqualification, a crash, or something to kind of make up that many points. If you want to stick in the top 300 overall, I don't know. I mean, we just talked about it. There's 28% of the global top 500 still have to play their chip. Some will go rogue. Some will go for the win, and they'll come up with a Ferrari on a 3X, and it may work, and they may win the whole thing. But it's kind of tough to say how it's all gonna go down. But if I was in the top 300, I would be pretty happy. So I would probably be trying to cover off Verstappen, Norris as best as I can and just like see how it all shakes out for Abu Dhabi. The best differential for your team, Timauv, may be to carry 3 transfers into Abu Dhabi. So if you can get to a Norris Verstappen lineup with 1 transfer or even just a Lando base squad or a Verstappen base squad with 1 transfer and to have 3 free transfers for Abu Dhabi, that might be kind of nice. Charbrook says, finally caught a live one again, but my eyelids are getting heavy at 4 a.m. Go to sleep, Charbrook. Do you mean generally or with Red Bull on the pits? It implies for more team, but it does favor the teams who got potential fast pit stops like Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari. Yeah, Red Bull has really been on it recently. McLaren has been a little bit slow. I think they've been, since they've had those couple of mess ups in like Monza and stuff like that, it feels like they've been more cautious on their pit stops and they haven't been nailing it as quickly as they were in the first part of the season where it was just like, boom. So maybe people are taking, like, maybe the higher ups are like, take 1 beat and make sure you get it done on the first try. Like, if you want to like set a world record, like do that in the first part of the season, like not right now when the championship's on the line. I didn't go to bed happy after Brazil, says Rebecca. Oh, yes. Shame that you and finally realized there's luck in the family. Well, of course there's luck, Nixie, but how do you count on luck? Like, you can't. So, I mean, yes, I will never win F1 fantasy playing that way, but if I found myself in the top 10 or the top 100 even heading into Abu Dhabi, Nixie, I would go differential and just hope, because that's the only way you're going to win a game like that. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I'm going for the top 1K. We'll see if I can get there. Sorry, I didn't mean McLaren. I meant Red Bull, said Kieran. Let's go back to your question here. Is Norris, Piastri, blah, 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 or fully swerve Verstappen? So then you're going to have a part of Verstappen's points with Red Bull. That's not bad. That's not bad. What's the expected points delta between 3X users and non-users in Qatar? I'm leading my mini league by 145 points, but second place still has a 3X, and I expect to use a chip for the sprint race. See, that's 145 points. That's where I would probably be certainly trying to cover off a Verstappen Lando lineup, Collins_MJ. That's where I would be like playing a little bit of defense. Like, if mini league is the only thing you care about, then yeah, getting to a Lando Verstappen lineup would be pretty high up on my list of priorities. Las Vegas was the first race since I went to say Baku where McLaren had all their pit stops below 3 seconds, says Benods. Yes, I believe Tommy on P1 with Matt and Tommy kept using McLaren under 3 seconds for both their pit stops as his like one crazy prediction for the race, and it finally came in Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm 3 transfers now. I feel fine with Norris, Verstappen, Red Bull, Mercedes. Small differential against Piastri. It's so random now. So yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Norris, Verstappen, Red Bull, Mercedes. Small differential against Piastri. Yeah, I like it. I know it's selfish, but I can't. I hope the championship ends in Qatar because I can't watch the Abu Dhabi race live. Oh no! Anyone with me on no Merc, McLaren, Max, Lando? Oh my goodness, Nixie, you are a brave soul. You and I get what you're saying, but you actually can use luck as part of a strategy. Let's call it probability gaming. All right, come on. Let's expand on that, Curia. I would love to hear it. But yes, I understand. Yeah, I understand that there's obviously luck in it, but is it the best? What do they call it? An FPL, EV, or whatever to go against Holland or whatever? Probably not. And it kind of feels like that with McLaren right now. However, this is all before practice, so that's what we're going on. Let's go to the race.com's article, 6 things we learned from the first day at F1's Qatar Grand Prix. Shock Nui appointment, a logical move, says Alonso. Yeah, I'm sure he did, probably towing the party line. All right, let's see what this first poll is. Will the championship be decided in Qatar? Yes, Lando will win World Drivers' Championship, 50%. No, all 3 drivers have a shot, 19%. And no, just 2 drivers have a shot, 31%. So y'all think that Lando is going to win the World Drivers' Championship. Very, very interesting. Let's go here. Did Aston Martin make the right move? Yes, Nui is a genius. No, should have been Horner or someone. Should have been Christian Horner, maybe. No. Oh, I'm just too. No. And then another option will be no, should have been Horner. There we go. Let me know what you think about Aston Martin appointing Adrian Newey as their team principal, because when I saw that yesterday, I was like, and it all just felt like, yeah. So, yeah. I didn't really see that coming, but then I was just wondering if like that had been in the works since the first time they kind of got that contract done with Adrian Newey. Sainz and Russell disagree on TV style stewarding wish. That doesn't really, it's not going to help us in F1 fantasy. McLaren's stance is perfect for Verstappen. With Verstappen now tied with Oscar Piastri in the championship standings, and the pair of them 24 points adrift of Norris, it is clear that McLaren faces a nervous final run-in. Amid the obvious danger of Norris and Piastri taking points off each and giving Verstappen an open goal to come straight through the middle of them to snatch the crown, it's no surprise that the issue of team orders came up. But that is not what's going to happen, as Piastri revealed on Thursday. The topic of him supporting Norris came up very briefly before being shot down. We've had a very brief discussion on it, and the answer is no. I'm still equal in points with Max, and I got a decent shot of still winning if things go my way. So yeah, that's how we play. Verstappen said he'd have told his team to F off if they had asked him to do that, but believes the situation is perfect for his title bid. Piastri knows that heading to the high-speed track that offers good grip are likely to swing things back in his favor after a recent run of more challenging venues, and that is why Norris does not yet know who his main challenger is likely to be. They're both as good as one another, explained Norris. I don't know what Max is capable of, or I know what Max is capable of, and I think Oscar's capable of exactly the same as what Max can do. So there we go. All right, back to the main page here. All right. I'm game. Who would you go for? I'm running in number 3 position, but no 3X. What to do? Offense or defense? I think I just said it, Modest Cowboy Racing, but I think I'd probably just go on the offensive. Like, I don't know where you're at. If we go to the league analyzer here, let's go to the global league. No team selected. So let's go. Here you are. So you're 3rd, but you're actually 2nd. Is that right? Is that what I'm seeing here? Modest Cowboy Racing. And then we go all the way down to 500. So you're at, what are you at? So you're at 5229, and top 500 is 250, 60 points behind you, 30 points, 80 points behind you. I think I'd go for it, man. You're 5 points behind Marion, who's also been in the chat at some point this season. So shout out to the top 2 in the world. Stuart Allen there with his T2 team. So I think I'd go for it. But how do you go for it? That's a different story. It could be a Piastri Max kind of route. You could go Piastri Lando. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there, but you never know. Got Russell, Antonelli, Charles, and might go 4A drivers and Red Bull and some cheap team. Oh my goodness, Nixie, you are flying. You love EV curve on that side. I used to look at chat last couple of seasons, but can't be asked. Hey, here to drop a like and catch your thoughts for this weekend. Also, here to hear your thoughts on Scotland in pot 3 versus which pot 1. Give us anyone, Michael. Give us anyone. But the rumor is that Scotland-Mexico could be the game. Like, if it gets drawn out that way, that Mexico-Scotland would probably open the tournament. So that would be pretty tasty. That'd be 1998 versus Brazil all over again. And I'd give us a fighting chance. I'd love to avoid like England or someone. Just that's too intense. That's too much for my brain to handle. But I'd love one of the host nations. I think that'd be a great atmosphere. Scotland, Canada, Scotland, USA, Scotland, Mexico. Give me one of those in pot 1. Pot 2, don't really know. I'd have to look at it. And pot 4, or pot 2, I'd love Australia. I think that would be like a weird 1-1 draw. And then pot 4, just any of the non-European qualifiers I'd be quite happy with. Makes sense to me, but many seem surprised on the appointment. I can get Norris, Verstappen, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar, Red Bull, V-Carb. Do you think I should go differential with Piastri because I'm 50 points behind my friend in my league? Yeah, you're probably going to have to do something different to catch up there, Kieran. So Piastri is not a bad shout at all. Hey, you, and happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, The Flame. Thoughts on Williams and Qatar? They say the track is not suited for Williams, but Sainz is doing well and had a podium with Ferrari. Yeah, I think if I'm remembering correctly, Williams do not do too hot on like medium speed, longer corners. And I believe Qatar has a few of those. So it might be a rough weekend for Williams. So we'll have to see what happens, but I'm not totally banking on them being that good this weekend, Modest Cowboy. So that's something that I would watch in FP1 and sprint qualifying tomorrow. Bernards, to me, that move speaks volumes. No, Nixie, we shall not talk about Liverpool. Get out of here. Sorry, Bernards, rudely interrupted by Nixie. To me, that move speaks volumes about team vibes behind the screen, because why would they not announce Cal as a temporary team principal if they wanted Nui to focus on design first? Yeah, fair enough. Probabilities are not luck. What you're talking about is putting yourself in position to get lucky. That's still just strategy based in data, not luck. Okay, Phil. Yeah, sure. It's probably a conversation that's too smart for my brain to handle. But like, I guess if people are going with Red Bull because they're like, well, McLaren is going to double DNF again, then like, that's not like, am I getting that correctly? Like, am I understanding what you're saying there? Like, that's not like, if you think Red Bull's going to be better, then obviously go with Red Bull. And if anything bad happens to McLaren, then you've put yourself in a good position. But like, I don't know. I guess maybe just let me know. Aston needs to mix it up with management, since mixing up drivers doesn't seem to be a path. That is true. It's all based on the fact that you play against other logical players. They all want to go for the best strategy in the meta, but the best is situational. Okay, okay, we'll keep going. Most people around my rank know that Max Lando is best, so why go for the exact same thing? Let's gamble. So that's a great point, Korea, because my thinking is like, it's kind of similar to this situation that we've got going on in the World Drivers' Championship right now, right? Like, I think there's going to be being outside the top 1,000 to me is like, okay, go for broke. However, I'm also wondering if there's enough people ahead of me that are also going for broke, that if I just stick with the tried and true strategy and kind of be like boring Bob, which I can say because my middle name is Robert, so I'm not offending any Bobs here. That maybe I just sneak into the top 100. But it just like, it's the whole thing that I keep saying about going to bed, hitting my head, or head hitting the pillow, being able to go to sleep, believing in like, I just want to say that I'm open to having Red Bull as a constructor this week. Like, I'm not saying that that's a bad choice. For me in Brazil, I don't know if that was the best choice, but it worked out quite well because of Max Verstappen. But yeah, I don't know. I just McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, definitely not Ferrari. Like, I don't know. You're putting yourself in position for a world of hurt if you go with Ferrari, in my opinion. But this is a really good discussion. Like, really, really interesting for me to listen to y'all kind of chit chat about it. Doing Limitless this week, says DesX. Any tips? Probably will come down to Red Bull versus McLaren versus Ferrari, and Leclerc versus Russell versus Hamilton. If McLaren, Piastri, Lando, and Max will be great. Yeah, I mean, it'd go McLaren, Red Bull, Piastri, Lando, Max. Maybe Leclerc. He was on the podium here last year, right? Am I misremembering that? I think he was second. I wouldn't touch Hamilton. The vibes are awful with the 7-time world champ. I think he just wants to go on holiday. So I can't blame him. He's had a rough first year with Ferrari, but we'll see how it goes. If I do Norris, Piastri, I would use Red Bull instead of McLaren, says Bernards. Okay. Oh, so kind of cover it off a little bit. I was replying to the other guy about luck being. I agree with you. Oh, okay. Sorry. Lights out and away we go to sleep. I'll catch the replay tomorrow. Thank you, Cherbrook. Slot out, says engineered to detail. Oof. Are we there already? We might be there already. I remember you said somewhere that you'd use autopilot in the last race if you had one. Well, I do. So, yeah, wait until the last race and then take a punt, Mac Attack. I wish I had an autopilot last year. I had Piastri and Leclerc, and I picked incorrectly with Piastri. But if I had picked Leclerc, I would have shot up the rankings. It would have been fantastic. So, you know, I kind of like autopilot for a last week punt. It's like poker, a lot of luck, but you have to read the situation you took over. That's how I feel about it. Okay. Crying Phase, what is the best lineup for Limitless? I still think it's going to be triple McLaren, double Red Bull with Russell and Leclerc. That seems pretty simple, and I'd probably go there. Slot in or out? Seen a lot of want him gone. This is such a tough question. Like, from going to like, I would not miss a Liverpool game to now like actually dreading watching them is such a weird turnaround in a 6-month time span. Like, they won the league 6 months ago, and now I'm like scared to turn on the game because it's so tough to watch right now. Something is broken. It doesn't help that we don't have any right backs. Bradley and Frimpong can't stay healthy. Kirkes has been a bit of a disappointment, to say the least. Isaac can't stay healthy. Ekatike is injured now. Verts, oh my goodness. So like, everything that was going right in the summer has gone wrong. But I think there's something to be said for how well Arsenal are playing right now. Continuity. They've added pieces rather than taking pieces away and replacing those pieces. And I think they are well on their way to their first title in 20 years? Is it 20 years for Arsenal? So yeah, I'm going to concede the league to Arsenal right now. They are absolutely crushing it. Given up on global league position as I threw it away in Brazil. 300 points ahead in mini league. Max Lando Red Bull or Max Lando Russell McLaren, or it doesn't really matter. 300 points ahead, I don't think it's going to really matter, Rebecca. So I think I would just go with whichever one is going to make you enjoy your Sunday morning more. Let's see. Ferrari were essential at one point. I know. I know they sure were. Charles got P2 last year. So okay, there we go. How do we feel about Behrman? The guy has an unusually long neck. I wonder about the high lateral G-force and the fatigue factor. Half serious on this. Goodness gracious, that is getting into some that's some intense deep dive Modest Cowboy racing. I think Behrman's going to be out of my squad by the time the deadline rolls around on Saturday, just because he's a little bit of a cash cow right now, 9.3. I am a little bit worried about the intensity of this race on the rookies. I mentioned it on like a TikTok earlier this week. In 2023, when they had this lap limit stuff, Piastri has said that it was like 57 laps of qualifying, and he was just like dead. And mentioning that part also brings up a point that in low deg races this season, Verstappen has done quite well. Let's go back to the stats here. Let's try to identify some of these tracks. So like it was low deg in Japan. Verstappen won. It was low deg where else? In Baku. Verstappen won. Monza. Verstappen won. I can't remember. Was Singapore a one-stop race? I can't even remember. But Austin, Verstappen won. Vegas, Verstappen won. And while Qatar is not really like I don't think it's a low deg track, if I remember correctly. The 25 lap limit means that McLaren's advantage of being able to let their tires kind of like ride out and just kind of like last a lot longer is kind of taken away a little bit. So that is another reason to at least stick on Max for sure. But then I don't know about Red Bull as a constructor. But back to Behrman, the 57 laps of qualifying, the first time that he's going through like the intensity of Qatar, the heat of Qatar, even though it is like 7 or 8 weeks later than when they originally had that like heat wave where Logan Sargent retired, Lance Stroll was like throwing up all over himself, couldn't get out of the car, like all that stuff. I'm a little bit curious about the rookies here. I think I'll probably wait on that until after tomorrow's sessions, like FP1 and sprint qualifying, and see if we get anything from like people being like, oh my goodness, this is so hot. Like if any of the rookies kind of spike up and be like, that was a really tough day, like that would be a little bit of a red flag for me. Let's see here. Let's see. I wish I would have held my autopilot. Instead, I wasted it in Las Vegas since I would have picked up the best 2X Endo. I don't know why Endo, Gomez, Chiesa never play. He was trusting them last year, but I guess the squad got like a little bit deeper. But I don't know. 22 years, says Nixie. Okay. Hi, Ewan. You're a Liverpool fan. Oh my God. Yes, we are going through it right now. Hopefully you are consoling me instead of laughing at me. Curia says, oh, Phil, I get your point. I know what probably is. Math major here. Oh, there we go, Curia. Oh, great job by you. I feel Max in the Red Bull just works better on lower downforce. Alrighty, Nixie. Yeah, I think maybe we were just saying the same thing there. I'm struggling to decide myself who I want to frontline my Qatar team with. 138.3 budget. I can't get Max and Lando with McLaren and Mercedes. Can you get it with Red Bull? J-Rate says, you and we're exactly tied. 1990 rank, 4835 points. Haha, you're up 3 million in budget on me, Phil. Oof, man. I hope I can use that budget to help us get up the rankings. I hope we can both crack that top 1,000, J-Rate. Same budget, same dilemma. All right, let's check out the poll here. Did Aston Martin make the right move? Yes, Newey's a genius. 73% of y'all. No, 12%. And then no should have been Horner, 15%. Okay, so people are liking it. I'm a little bit curious about how it goes. Like, obviously, like there's a ton of like engineering experience going on at the front line of F1 right now. Like you've got Komatsu, you got James Bowles and stuff like that all coming up and kind of showing that engineers deserve team principal spots. So it'll be interesting to see how Newey does at Aston Martin. How is FPL going this year, Ewan? That's a great question. Let's see. If I go to livefpl.net, let's see here, Nixie. Another green arrow last week. I'm just hovering right outside the top 1 million and I have activated my wild card. So I'm hoping for a little bit of a push up the rankings. So, I mean, it was bad there for a while, but yeah, I think I want a string of green arrows. I've got Holland in the team. I went Mbuemo captain last week. So, yeah, that didn't work out. But I don't think any captain worked out last week. Yeah, I think if I drop McLaren for Red Bull, I can make that team. I like that team then, the Flame. Not bad at all. Did you see James Vowles will be racing in GT3 after Abu Dhabi? I did see that. I don't know how that is really going to work that much, Benods, but it's interesting to see. I believe he was like taking some lessons or some refreshers over the last couple of months and is getting there. By the way, Benods and Rebecca are in the Discord and we're having a grand old time. So you guys should join the Patreon. If you use that code above my head right now, you'll get 25% off your first month of my Patreon. So use that promo code and get in the Discord and we can chit chat for the final 2 races of the F1 fantasy season. Yeah, not too bad. You can always get a good rank from there. Wildcard is always exciting. Yeah. I have to do some deep dive tomorrow, Nixie, because I'm a little bit behind on my prep with it being a triple header here. But yeah, hopefully I'll get there. The problem is I finished like top 5K 2 years ago. So I'm not sure if I'll ever get better than that. That was just like an absolute flyer of a season. But yeah, we did turn the Discord temporarily into a travel discussion. Join us for a grand time. Yeah, that was very interesting. We were having a grand old time, Benods. No need to apologize. I was having a great time. Last year I was 284 in the world FPL. Oh my goodness. What are you guys? All right, maybe let us know your lineup. Like, what should I do in my wild card? Let's get a little FPL Q&A going here. The Flame says, I can get to Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly with Red Bull, Mercedes in 3 moves, no penalties. But my boy, Ollie Behrman, I think you'll be okay without Behrman. I don't know if he's going to be that great. This, sorry, my cats I think they're playing, but we'll see. It really is a tough one. Yeah. So tomorrow, guys, I'm probably going to close this up in the next like couple of minutes here, but tomorrow after sprint quali, I will have my final thoughts episode out. So don't miss that. And on Saturday, 2 hours before the deadline, I'm back. We're doing it again. 2 hours before the deadline, before the sprint. So we'll be here making all the decisions. You'll get to watch me freak the out about the extra DRS chip. So yeah, it should be a grand old time. We've been having a great time on these live streams, and there is also going to be the cooldown room this week, race review, cooldown room, race review, which will hopefully only last an hour, because last time it lasted an hour, and then I took a 5-minute break, and then I was on for another hour and a half waiting for that McLaren DSQ to become official, and it still took like 2.5 hours. So yeah, I'm hoping it's just 1 hour of race review on Sunday evening. So hopefully you guys join me for that. So yeah, we're doing a live stream right now, Q&A live stream right now. There's going to be I'm going to be on YouTube in your face today, tomorrow, the next day, and the following day. Oh wait, and the day after that, because there'll be an Abu Dhabi team selection. So yeah, I hope you don't get sick of me, and hopefully you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Like I said, the drive to 5,000 subs is well and truly underway. Thank you for helping me get to 4,000 subs this season. It has been madness. Wildcard in this game week or 12 game week? Wildcard in this game week. So yeah, wildcard 13 is on the table. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this up and get out of here so I can get some sleep. I believe, let's go check this out. We've got a little bit of an early morning tomorrow. Practice 1 for me. Okay, so it's not, wait. Qatar. My time. Okay, I had this totally wrong. So for some reason, there was something going on. Unless I was just looking at Abu Dhabi this entire time. Is that what was going on? Abu Dhabi. Oh, okay. Now that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, okay. So Abu Dhabi is the kind of earlier one. But yeah, I don't know what I was looking at, Nixie. I guess my brain is turning to smush. So tomorrow, yeah, 2 hours ahead of us. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so tomorrow, final thoughts will be out by about 7 p.m. UK time, 7:30 p.m. UK time. So you guys can look out for that. But yes, hopefully everyone has had a good time. Yes, Nui is a genius, wins the second pole at 69%. I think the real question is, do I trust Alonso? I don't know. I probably will end up trusting Alonso over Colapinto, the Flame. I wish I could get sleep. I work in e-commerce. We'll be up for Black Friday. Oh, Benods. Positive vibes heading your way, Benods. I did do some shopping today on Königstrasse. Got myself about 5 sweaters. I don't think I've ever shopped that much in person. But in Germany, Thanksgiving is not a thing. So it was pretty good time. It was just me and my wife just kind of roaming around, looking like we were normally shopping. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that's been here. Have a good one. Ewan says the Flame. You too, the Flame. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. I'm probably going to go sneak in a little bit of Thanksgiving football here before I head to bed and see how the old NFL fantasy football team is doing. Rebecca is saying, I've had Alonso for 5 weeks. And let me tell you, the Flame, she has not been having a good time. So, yeah, we will see how that goes. But thanks again to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with my final thoughts once sprint qualifying wraps up. And then I'll also be here for the deadline stream 2 hours before the sprint quali starts, or sprint in Qatar. So hopefully everyone, I got to check these times. Okay, I'm not going crazy. That's perfect. All right, there we go. All right, guys. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. I will see you tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, and I will talk to you next time.